I have completed month 1 of 2024. I'm going to give you my weigh-in and reflection, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. You are watching another episode of Ketosis Focus. We made it through January. It has not been a smooth sailing ride for the most part. I've had to battle some sickness this past couple of weeks. Our entire house kind of got taken over with some sickness, so we were each taking turns getting sick and then getting better. So it's been a little bit of a challenge. I think I'm on day 1 of feeling well enough to get out of my PJs and enter the world today. But I'm gonna go over what my January was like, this month 1 of the year, and give you my weigh-in and talk about some of my takeaways for this month and then what the plans are for next month. So when I embarked on January of 2024, my original goal was to track my macros. I had been off keto for a while now, and I was just trying to get myself back into a groove. So my goal was to stay keto the entire month of January, track my macros to kind of keep myself within a range and to get an idea of exactly how much I was eating, and then to try and hit 130 grams of protein. That was the original goal. And then I also wanted to incorporate some exercise, and some goals were met and some goals were not. So I ended up going through my Carb Manager app just to kind of see what my averages were when it came to like calories and my protein. I wasn't really tracking calories. I wasn't really tracking fat. I wasn't even really tracking carbs. I was allowing myself to have veggies, or some days I was carnivore, some days I was ketovore, and some days I was just full on keto. And there were some days this month I was like really dirty keto. Like I'm talking low carb tortillas and stuff. I try to limit that to just the weekend. Excuse me. Woo. All right, so one of the things that I noticed is I was tracking Monday through Friday. That's kind of been a thing that I've always done, is I would track my macros Monday through Friday, and on the weekend I would relax. I would still keep it keto, but I wouldn't enter anything into an app. And I know that that probably caused some fluctuation with my overall intake, because there might be days where I didn't eat nearly as much as the day before, but then there would be a weekend where I would probably maybe eat more than usual. So I didn't track those days. Overall, the entire 31 days of January, I did not track for 8 of those days. So it's pretty much the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for 4 weeks in a row. But the days that I did track, I went ahead and got an average. So my average calories that I ended up noticing that I was intaking when I did track, the average was 1444. So it was a little bit less than I had expected. I usually expect myself to be within the 1800 range, maybe even 2000, but I know that I was fluctuating. So maybe on the weekends I was eating more of that higher range, and then during the week I probably kept it at the 1400 range. But the protein was the number that I was really focusing on this month. I normally find it hard to hit like over 100 sometimes. I mean, unless I'm eating a big old ribeye steak, if I'm eating a keto meal or keto meals throughout my week, I have to push myself to try and get 130 grams of protein. So there were some days that I, hit it right on the nose. There were other days that I surpassed it by, a lot. I'm like 193 grams of protein, days like that. And there were a couple of days where that one week I struggled and I barely got 77 grams of protein a couple of those days. So overall, I added up all of my days of protein this month, and my average was exactly 130 grams of protein. So yay, I hit my protein goal for this month. So I will call that a win. I did not exercise at all. Like I said, there was a lot of excuses, a lot of factors that kind of made it more difficult to do that. One of the things is I wanted to get back into my groove of walking every morning, and normally I would walk the kids to school and then head out for an hour. And with the weather, since it's being January and it been a freeze happening and wet weather, I just, I didn't start that regular walking the way I had wanted to this month. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. And also I think I probably lifted maybe 1 day, 2 days total this entire month of January, probably just one actually. So I definitely did not meet my exercise expectations for the month of January, but I did keep it keto. I did not have a single off day this entire month. And I did hit my protein goals, so I will call that a win. Now let's talk weigh-in. On January 1st, I weighed in at 195.0, and the last day of January, I weighed in at 193.4, so that is an overall loss of 1.6 pounds. Yes, I was disappointed when I saw that number because I felt like, ooh, back into the groove and seeing what, you know, my caloric intake was and the protein and all of that. I guess I was expecting at least maybe a 4-pound loss. Let me average at least 1 pound a week, but I didn't. I basically maintained this month, which is a little frustrating, and I could wallow in that disappointment and beat myself up about it and just throw my hands up the air and say, screw this, why am I even doing this? Because I have had little snippets of those thoughts. But you know, something happened this morning. My daughter went to school after being sick for 2 days, and she had to retake a science test that she didn't do really well on. And after being gone for 2 days, and she was struggling to kind of keep up with her classes. They're all advanced classes. And she went this morning early before school started, and she took this test, and she was so confident. She had studied, she had taken practice tests, and she had aced them all. And then she went in this morning and she didn't do too well. She was texting me after that retake, and she was in tears, or she was crying through her texting, saying that she didn't do so well and she was so, you know, disappointed. And I was encouraging her. I was like, you know, it's okay. It's behind you now. You did the best you could. And, you know, whatever happened, happened. You'll just work harder on the next tests, and we'll just keep it moving. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, you know, just remember that I love you. And so when I weighed myself, my first instant reaction was that disappointment. And, I had to stop for a second and like, okay, before I beat myself up about why it wasn't as good as I anticipated and why I didn't do better than I had hoped, I stopped and I talked to myself the way I talked to my daughter. And I said, okay, you did the best that you could this month. It's behind you. Put it behind you. Focus on tomorrow. Just do your best moving forward, and just remember that I love you. And that's something that I don't normally ever tell myself. Like, I'm always in this stressful mindset of, why isn't this working for me? It's working for everybody else, and this is stressing me out. I'm getting so frustrated, and I just want to throw my hands up in the air and give up. And today was like a good day. It's been like a really good mental break for me to go, okay, so it is what it is. It's a loss. Let's celebrate that. It's not what you expected, but that's okay. We're going to move forward and do better next month. So for being sick for the past few days and trying to stay on track and trying to still track my macros and do all of that, you know, it's been, you know, a little bumpy, shaky month back into the year, but I still think of it as a win, and I'm going to be kinder and gentler to myself moving forward. So anyway, let's talk February goals. All right, so what I plan to do moving forward is to embark on a 0 carb challenge. That's basically going to be a lot like the BBB&E challenge, where I eat only beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, except instead of just beef, I'm going to allow myself all the proteins. So I'm going to allow myself chicken and pork, seafood, beef, just to kind of gauge what the 0 carb challenge will feel like. Budget-wise, I want to track how much we spend on this challenge, and my husband's going to do it alongside with me, so I am going to have support doing it this month. But one of the biggest takeaways that I'm going to notice for the month of February is I'm not going to do dairy in a lot of my meals, and I lean on it because cheese is addicting. It's delicious, and so I do like to add it, and it makes me feel like I'm incorporating other elements to my meals, maybe to keep it more interesting and less boring. And I add some cheese and dairy and heavy cream, and I make cream sauces and, you know, things like that. So one of the things I'm going to eliminate in February is all the dairy. So that means my morning coffee, when I normally have my super creamer that I have to start my day with out of habit, I'm going to not have my coffee and maybe push it back. Or if I do have a coffee, I'm going to do a carnivore coffee, which means I will blend up 1 egg yolk or a tablespoon of butter into my coffee and blend it up, no sweetener, and just have it like that. So I'm gonna see how I do with kind of limiting my coffee this month. On days recently where I've had 2 cups of coffee a day, you know, it's going to probably be a little bit of a struggle on me, especially with headaches and whatnot, caffeine withdrawals. But I think it would be a good thing to kind of see how my body changes, how I'm gonna feel at the end of February after I embark on a month of no dairy. Another thing that I'm going to do for the month of February is cut out sweeteners, all sweet things, nothing sweet in my mouth whatsoever. So that means I'm not going to have my stevia in coffee. I'm not going to have any kind of flavored electrolytes in my water. I'm not gonna have any bangs just because it's 0 carb. I'm not gonna allow that either. So there's gonna be a few elements to this challenge. So yes, it's gonna be 0 carbs, so everything that I eat is gonna be within the 0 carb range, but also it's not gonna have dairy or sweeteners. I decided to go ahead and allow myself the coffee. I didn't wanna put too much on me and be too restrictive to be like, you can't have coffee either, because I don't think coffee is detrimental to my diet. In all honesty, I think it's just out of habit, and I do like my coffee with cream and sugar. So if I want my coffee, I'm gonna make it a carnivore coffee, and I know I'm not having dairy or sweetener, so I may not want it nearly as often as I think I do, or that I usually have it. I am not gonna take any days off of tracking. So I'm going to track the entire month of February. There's not going to be any off weekends where I'm not going to track. And I'm just going to be truthful with everything that I intake. And if there's going to be days where I'm hungry and maybe I eat more, then I eat more. And if there are days that I don't want to eat more, maybe I just want to have an OMAD because I'm full already, then that's what I'm going to do. So my goal is to hit 130 grams of protein, but that's going to be my average overall. That's going to be the goal. So if some days are higher than others, it is what it is. Okay, now we're going to talk about my fitness goal for the month of February. So, you know, I decided the type of person that I am is I have to just make an appointment. I need to put it in my calendar and I need to set it, and it's got to be something that I can't cancel. So my goal for February is to put it in my calendar to go walk, and I'm either going to walk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. And, you know, even if it's 30 minutes, even if it's an hour, it's got to be something. I've got to move my body 3 times a week, so a minimum. So if I do more than that, great. If I get into the habit of going every single day, you know, Monday through Friday, then wonderful, but I have to do a minimum of 3 times a week, so I've got to commit to that. I think I might do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I think Tuesday and Thursday might be easier to go for a walk or hit the gym on those days, but I do want to do some movement at least 3 times a week and some strength training. So now that I've been prioritizing protein, I know I need to start lifting, and I've been dragging my feet and being lazy, but because I've been having Tony Robbins in my life lately, and because I've been reading the 12-week year, and I've been trying to get into the mindset of being more productive and getting myself to my goals quicker and in a more productive way, that I feel like scheduling it into my calendar and making myself do it and getting into the new routine, a new habit, is going to be a game changer for February. Another difference that I'm going to do for February that I didn't do for January is I'm going to take out that tape measure and I'm going to measure my body, and I'm going to do it on the 1st of February, and then I'm going to do it on the very final day of February to see how many inches I have lost over the month of February. So we're going to track how much weight I lose, if I lose any in February, and how many inches I lose as well. So that is the summary of my first month of 2024. That is the vision, the goal for February of 2024. Leave me a comment, y'all. Let me know, how was your first month of the year? Did you hit all of your goals? Were there anything that you did that you weren't expecting to, or anything that you've learned along the way that you'd love to share? I'd love to hear about it. Post it in the comments below. If you've not subscribed already, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Make sure to hit that subscribe button now and that notification bell so you find out when all the videos are getting posted. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked hanging out with me today and listening to this episode. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, because it really helps the algorithm with my videos, pushes them out, and helps find more like-minded people on a health journey as well. So that is it. I will see you in the next one.